Well, we haven't seen each other in a while, but Kamala Harris left the race. As you can see, I'm holding up really well. Totally not upset at all. Haven't been crying my eyes out. As people who watch these videos know, Kamala's my favorite candidate for the election. I do believe she's the most electable out of the top five. Biden and Buttigieg and Warren and Sanders, they all have different problems that I think might trip them up in the long run. And I also think it's weird that even though she's polled consistently in the top five all year long, she's quitting. She says that she can't win, there's no path forward, and yet there's still 16 candidates running. So what are the other 11 that have no chance at all? What are they thinking? Why are they still there? But I also don't like the fact that she's quitting because Tom Steyer and Michael Bloomberg, they've made the race so expensive to advertise in that if you're not a billionaire and you're not funding your own campaign, you basically can't compete. I don't think her candidacy did as well as it should have. Some of the criticisms that she received, which are unfair. The biggest one I kept seeing was from black voters. People kept saying, well, she's going to win black voters, and that's a huge chunk of the Democratic primary vote, and if she just had those voters, then she could probably become the nominee, where Buttigieg and Biden and Warren and all these others, they're splitting all these other votes. But she never got a lot of black voters. The biggest thing I kept seeing was Kamala Harris is a cop. Kamala Harris is a cop. She's a prosecutor. She prosecuted people in her job as a prosecutor. This is peak ignorance masquerading as wokeness. It wouldn't surprise me if Russia started that meme and got that whole dialogue going. And I heard that from people, black people, young people in California. I heard them saying stuff like, I don't trust Kamala Harris. I don't like Kamala Harris. You think Joe Biden is going to be better for you on civil rights than Kamala Harris is? What are you basing that on? Kamala was fantastic on most civil rights issues. And in fact, when she was the prosecutor in San Francisco, which is where these things keep getting started, there were several times where she was butting heads with the white female establishment, Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein and Barbara Boxer. She didn't want to prosecute a cop killer. She didn't want a death penalty for a cop killer. And Feinstein didn't like that and wrote letters about it. And that she was constantly having to butt heads with these people. And I know for a fact she was more progressive in those jobs than people are giving her credit for, because I had a civil rights case myself in my own family where I've written to every fucking politician in California, which are almost all exclusively white at a statewide level, and they don't care. I mean, Xavier Barrera, who took over her office as Attorney General of California, his office is mismanaged into ruin when it comes to civil rights cases. I mean, I can't even get people to call me back or send me a letter back. I'll tell them the California Department of Education does not care. They don't cover private schools. And then he'll send me a letter back being like, oh, take it to the California Department of Education. The same people I told me to come to him. Kamala, as Attorney General, started something called the Children's Bureau of Justice, and the Bureau for Children's Justice, and I don't even know if it still exists, because basically they don't have a listed phone number. I've emailed them about 5 times. They have not gotten back to me. Then I've written to senators about this case. Dianne Feinstein, I didn't even write to her specifically about it. My complaint to Elizabeth Warren got forwarded to her because she's my senator in California. Feinstein immediately rejected it, said she couldn't do anything, would not help. Kamala's office has still got it active and pending that she is going to try to do something about this. So it's still being through the channels within her office. Then you've got Gavin Newsom's office, and I've called them. Somebody literally hung up on me. Literally was so rude they hung up on me, where Kamala's office has been nice and friendly and they at least give a shit. So, you know, little things like the fact that Gavin Newsom's office hung up, Feinstein's office wrote a letter rejecting my claim before they even knew what it was, saying they wouldn't get involved. Xavier Barrera is a fucking joke as Attorney General. Little things like that. Whereas if Kamala was Attorney General, I would just feel significantly better about this case. I don't know what people are basing that on, that she doesn't care about civil rights and she's a cop and she wouldn't be friendly to their interest. I think that's unfair. I also think it's weird because it's like you hear that from all these black voters that like Joe Biden, who's never been on the right side of civil rights issues until he's forced to be, basically something like school busing where he's just dead wrong. And then, you know, at the same time, these voters like, okay, who do you like? Joe Biden, and over Kamala Harris. I don't think it's got anything to do with that. I think this idea of like, oh, well, she slept with Willie Brown and that's how she got big and all this. I mean, nobody outside of San Francisco knows who the fuck that is. So the fact that everybody is talking about him, I thought was suspicious. I thought that was weird. There were all these little things like, oh, her mom's really Indian, so she's not really black. And she spent part of her time in Canada. Her mom's Hindu. There were all these really strange things around her that I didn't, it felt like they're really saying she married a white guy, so she can't be as black as she should be. A lot of the real animosity towards her. And I think that's unfortunate. I think it shows that there are still prejudice in the electorate. I mean, if Barack Obama had married a white woman, I don't think he ever would have been elected, you know, and rather than Michelle, even though he's just as white as he is black. I think people would have had a problem with that. That's why people like me who were in an interracial marriage, we wanted her, because it's sort of like Mitt Romney for Mormons or JFK for Catholics or Tom Cruise if he was ever the president, which, I mean, the Republicans, they can't do any worse than Trump, but that would be for Scientologists. It's sort of a saying that we've made it, we've broken out, we've had our moment, and we're, you know, like, we're part of America, like we're mainstream. And so I just think it's really sad that seemed to be what was really holding her back. And there's no question that a Howard graduate who went through school busing and was a very progressive prosecutor in San Francisco, regardless of what people say in fucking Salon or wherever that came from, that it can be that she's not black enough or she's, you know, somehow, you know, a sellout just because she's married to a white guy. And the same fucking people that said Kamala's a cop, the second she dropped out of the race, they're like, oh, primary so white. So it's just like, shut up, you know, like when you could have done something about it or when you had a chance to support someone, you didn't do it. And that's sad because she was, I believe, the Democrats' best chance at beating Trump and also having a pretty fantastic civil rights, you know, president, as well as bringing us closer to India, which we desperately need to do. I think she could have strengthened ties there.